What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. We are back with another offseason rebuild. Of course, we did the Phoenix Suns yesterday, but now we're doing the other team that got eliminated in the second round, of that course being the Milwaukee Bucks. Before we get into today's video, though, guys, if you could drop a like, and of course, subscribe if you're new around here, that would be greatly appreciated. And quickly, real quick update, guys, I will be live tonight before the draft lottery, live streaming my reaction to the draft lottery. As you guys know, it's very important for me because I'm a Blazers fan, so I would love to see my Blazers jump into the top 3 tonight, top 4 tonight, whatever happens. But I will be live, so I'd love for you guys to come out and join me to watch it if you want to. But that's just, letting you guys know I will be live tonight if you want to come out and watch the draft lottery with me. But we take a look at the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, they got eliminated by the Boston Celtics in 7. Some people would argue that if Chris Middleton was healthy, the Bucks would have won this series. You may not be wrong, but we're going to do our best to try to make this Bucks roster even better this offseason. So let's go ahead and see what we can do, as we have the Miami Heat going on to beat the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. So let's get in this offseason and talk about the Bucks a little bit. So again, the biggest thing is Chris Middleton not being healthy. They could have used him. They needed a guy that could create some shots other than just Giannis, obviously. So Drew Holiday was doing his best, but super inefficient, just chucking up a lot of shots. And at times looked really good. At other times, just too many shots for my liking. But for everybody's liking, we have the 24th overall pick, so that should actually come in handy. But as far as staff signing is concerned, you have Mike Budenholzer, which he's solid, but definitely would love, sometimes he gets criticized for his adjustments and stuff he doesn't do. But he's solid enough that I'm not going to fire him, obviously. We won a championship with him already. But hey, if they didn't win that championship, he might have been fired back then, but obviously they won. So I don't see them moving on from him. But one thing we do have to talk about today, after we fill out this coaching staff on what are some options on how the Bucks could get better, is probably exploring a Brook Lopez trade, which we'll talk about here in a second, but we're going to fill this out real quick. So now that we have the coaching staff completely filled out, of course, we are on draft night, and we're going to take a look at some options here. So you have the 24th overall pick in this draft. And then if you look at some of the contracts, you have Chris Middleton, who has a player option, which I assume he could easily accept that at $40 million, being 31 years old. I mean, there is a chance, though, his value just goes way higher than that. He opts out, and then they have to resign him to a bigger contract, or they trade him. I don't think they're going to trade Chris Middleton. Giannis and Chris Middleton seem to like each other a lot. Drew Holiday, I don't think, is going anywhere either. Obviously, they gave up a lot to get him. But Brook Lopez is a guy that just coming off a surgery he had this season, and sometimes he wasn't completely on the floor for them. So I could see a world where they trade Brook Lopez and sign like a cheaper center, and then in the playoffs, they'll probably go with Giannis as center more often. So what I kind of want to do for this team is I want to get another player on this roster that's going to be really good, a good 3-and-D guy, basically. Just another guy. So Brook Lopez in this 24th overall pick, which it says I can't trade it, but on draft night, you're able to trade your picks. So that's why I can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, first and foremost, let's just try it with just Brook Lopez in the trade finder, because Brook Lopez is still a good center. Don't get me wrong. He's a guy who could play defense and space the floor a little bit. Still a decent center. And there's going to be some teams like the Raptors, for instance, that may be interested in something like that. But obviously, this doesn't get us where we want to be. There's a certain guy I have in mind for the Bucks that I really want to try to make happen. So that is going to be the trade I'm going to try to explore. I think the only thing I'm really looking for is trading Brook Lopez here, to be honest with you, because of the expiring contract and having this 24th overall pick. And I think I can make something happen here. So I went ahead and threw Brook Lopez in this first round pick in the trade finder. The Philadelphia 76ers don't really like that offer. Of course, I'm looking for a guy who's going to be, helpful. The Celtics, I don't see them doing that. The Clippers, we get Clint Capella, but that's not really what I'm looking for. Terrence Davis and Justin Holiday, Royce O'Neal, I'm not trading 2 firsts for. So if we keep looking, not really seeing what I kind of wanted to pop up. So we're going to have to make the trade ourselves. So this is the trade I kind of had in mind. And I think it makes a little bit of sense, but at the same time, it could not make sense because Brook Lopez is too old for this team. But if we take a look at the Charlotte Hornets, for example, and if we take a look at them, PJ Washington is a guy that I think the Bucks could definitely love. He could start for them in the playoffs if they needed to. Him and Bobby Portis would be good power forward options. And again, Giannis can slide over to center when they want to go and not have a traditional center out there. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So Brook Lopez and my future and my 2020 or my 24th overall pick for PJ Washington. Maybe you throw in another pick. Maybe you throw in your second round pick as well. So, and the Charlotte Hornets get themselves a center, which, like I said, Brook Lopez is not a long-term option. So I'm not sure how much Charlotte would really value Brook Lopez. If he was younger, I'm sure this trade would go through. But again, Brook Lopez being as old as he is, I'm not sure the Charlotte Hornets love this trade. And yeah, they're not a big fan a big fan of it. So if they're another second round pick, they agree. So trade 3 picks in order to get PJ Washington, who I think is going to fit perfectly here in Milwaukee. So I like him a lot coming over to the Bucks, and he'll be a really good power forward option. And again, this will give us the option to kind of have Giannis play more center, basically, is kind of what I'm doing here. So I kind of like that. So now PJ Washington's another guy, kind of like PJ Tucker a little bit, not exactly the same at all, to be honest with you. PJ Tucker plays a little bit different, but Washington can also space the floor. I like that pickup for the Bucks. So that's going to be the guy, was my big pickup. And then player options, of course, Bobby Portis is going to decline, but this offseason we actually have his bird rights, and then Pat Connaughton's been a really solid player for the Bucks off the bench, so I definitely would love to have him back. Jordan Nwora got played, was not in the rotation in the playoffs, but when he did play for the Bucks, he was actually pretty solid. So that could be another guy you could potentially throw in the trade for the Hornets to accept it if Jordan Nwora was in the trade. But again, I mean, the city of Milwaukee loves Bobby Portis, so I don't see Bobby Portis going anywhere, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna give him a 4-year deal. He re-signed, and now he's gonna get his bag. So Pat Connaughton, same kind of deal. I think Connaughton's really beloved in Milwaukee as well. They traded for Serge Ibaka at the trade deadline, where they traded Dante DiVincenzo. Can't remember if they got a second round pick out of that trade or not, but obviously DiVincenzo or Serge Ibaka wasn't even playing for them in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm not sure how that trade went or how they thought about that trade. But if we take a real quick look, they have Bobby Portis playing center. What I want to do is I want to have Giannis playing center more, and I'm going to have Bobby Portis play the power forward. So this is what it's going to kind of look like. But I still do want to sign like a traditional center, because maybe during the regular season we don't want to go to that as much. But in the playoffs, I think it would be like really nice to have like Giannis out there at center, and then you could have like Bobby Portis, PJ Washington out there together, or Chris Middleton, Connaughton, and Grayson Allen. There's a lot of lineup flexibility here, but we do need another wing player, so I kind of want to get one in free agency. So Connaughton is great. PJ Washington, Bobby Portis, I love that a lot, and I still want a traditional center, like I said. So Pat Connaughton does not, he actually goes down if I move him to shooting guard, which is kind of unfortunate because I feel like he's more of a shooting guard in my opinion. So I'm going to move him there anyway. So it's going to be Connaughton and Grayson Allen at your 2, and then George Hill is your backup point guard, Drew Holiday. But we kind of need like a backup small forward and a backup center. So let's take a look at what we could find. So small forwards, Eric Gordon makes a lot of sense for me. Another guy that could create his own shot as well. And then as your centers, you have Serge Ibaka. But again, I said I wanted more of a traditional center. So Whiteside, I guess, could be that. But I don't know. Aaron Baines is out here as well. I don't know where Aaron Baines is nowadays, but Eric Gordon, I think I for sure want. I think he'd be a really nice addition here in Milwaukee. So we can get Eric Gordon. I like that a lot. And then do we have a trade exception? We do. We have an $8 million trade exception. So maybe we use that trade exception to get a center. I'm not signing Freedom. Guess we could always just sign Serge Ibaka back and just have him play a little bit more, but I don't know. Marc Gasol, Dwayne Dedmon, Mason Plumlee, Whiteside. As far as center options out here, they're not that great, to be honest with you. So I could try this trade exception and find a center that fits about an $8 million trade exception, just for like another center that we don't have to worry about Giannis playing center like in the regular season, but in the playoffs, him playing there would be nice. So let's see. We did this. So it would be, yeah, Chet Holmgren, obviously not going to happen. We got Naz Reid, Daniel Gafford, Mitch Robinson. So Mitch Robinson would be nice. Okongwu, Walker Kessler. It's just not really there. You know, a lot of the centers aren't making that much money. Mohamed Bamba would actually be really solid to sign from Milwaukee. I would like that addition for them a lot as well if they could find a way. Then Thomas Bryant. If we could get Thomas Bryant, that's not going to happen. But again, Mo Bamba, I would love nothing more than to get Mo Bamba. But again, I don't think we have enough money for this. So yeah, he's not going to accept the minimum, and he's declined, obviously. So we're not going to get Mo Bamba. Thomas Bryant, Serge Ibaka, Xavier Tillman. Yeah, so none of these guys are going to be really that gettable. You have Willie Hernangomez, but again, it's just not going to be. So I think we really have to sign a free agent, and the free agent, I mean, Drummond would be cool as well. I mean, again, you're not going to play much in the playoffs, but I mean, for the regular season, he'd be fine. I guess I could sign Serge Ibaka back. I mean, I don't really know what else you do there. I mean, you did trade, like I said, you did trade DiVincenzo, so I don't mind Serge Ibaka. And then I'm going to get Jordan Nwora back, and maybe Jordan Nwora gives me a decent option to maybe trade for a center. If not, Mitch Robinson, still, I wouldn't mind him. He's not going to accept the minimum, though. So maybe on day 12, he'll accept it. Let's see. Mohamed Bamba, 1 year minimum. Does he accept it now? No. Damn, man, that would be crazy if we could get Mo Bamba on a minimum. What about Thomas Bryant on a minimum contract? No. Damn, bro. It'd be so cool if we get one of those guys, but can I, let's see. Can I? No, I can't. 2 years, that makes it even worse. So, well, yeah, that makes it all worse. So, okay. that sucks we couldn't get one of them, but we'll have Jordan Nwora back on his qualifying offer. And if we go to player progression, Giannis is going down, Chris Middleton going down, Drew Holiday going down, Bobby Portis. Everyone, of course, is going down, which we kind of figured this Bucks roster is a little up there in age. Jordan Nwora, I guess, could be like a huge part of the rotation this year, so maybe we don't trade him away. Maybe he'll be like more of a small forward for us, but I kind of like where we're at. Kind of like our roster. I mean, again, I think we should have definitely had more of a traditional center here, but I think with PJ Washington coming over here, that's going to make us that much better. And again, with Giannis being able to play center in the playoffs, I mean, it's going to make this roster just even scarier. So let's take a look at this roster. So you got Drew Holiday, Pat Connaughton, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis starting at power forward, which I don't mind that. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo, PJ Washington off the bench. And you got Grayson Allen, Serge Ibaka, and Jordan Nwora and Eric Gordon. So I'm going to personally just run a 9-man rotation just to give my best players like I said, the best amount of stats possible, best amount of minutes as possible. Honestly, I think I'd rather have Grayson Allen start, but either way, they're both kind of, the similar player, 3-and-D players, shoot a lot of threes. That's what you're out there for. So Jordan Nwora and Serge Ibaka, though, we're kind of relying on them to be, decent enough. Defense is a 4-star. Balance is a 4-star. And then can we go up anywhere? No. I'm just going to move this to a balanced system because that's where everybody fits it the best. And we're going to simulate this season, and we are going to see how this Milwaukee Bucks roster does. So again, I mean, Giannis, traditionally, you'd have him at power forward probably in the regular season, but in the playoffs, I would love to see Giannis maybe play a little bit more center. I think it could be very nice for Milwaukee. So we're going to go ahead and simulate to the end of this season, and we are going to see how this Bucks roster does after that offseason we just had for them. So at the end of the season, Luka Doncic, like usual, wins MVP. Pretty much happens every video. Paul LeBron carries your rookie of the year on the Detroit Pistons, and tonight we will have the draft, or not, yeah, tonight we'll find out the draft lottery order. So we'll do some draft lottery rebuilds probably tomorrow, and then the rest of the week. Klay Thompson, 6th man of the year. Giannis wins Defensive Player of the Year at center, so not too bad. 23 and 11 for him, and then 2 blocks per game, 5 assists. Killian Hayes, most improved, and Willie Green is your Coach of the Year, and Dylan Shaw is your executive. So All-NBA first team, All-NBA second team, and All-NBA third team. Giannis making it All-NBA third team. Probably would be, more of a, if he was that forward, probably would have made like All-NBA first team, but it is what it is. So if we take a look at the player stats real quick for the season and taking a look at it. So we had 23 from Giannis, 21 from Chris Middleton, 17 from Drew Holiday. PJ Washington, like I said, was an excellent acquisition for us. He had 14 points and 11, and then 10 from Grayson Allen, 8 from Connaughton, 7 from Jordan Nwora off the bench, and 6 from Serge Ibaka. So I'm actually going to shrink this down to an 8-man rotation in the playoffs and have my 8 best players playing. So it looks like we have a lot of guys on the fire, which is good. So Jordan Nwora is going to get some minutes, Grayson Allen, and they want to start Connaughton, which is fine, I guess. And then we're going to see if we can win a championship here with Milwaukee. I love the PJ Washington edition here. If you're able to pull that off, again, I don't know. Maybe get like a third team involved that would maybe value Brook Lopez a little bit higher, and then the Charlotte Hornets get like Miles Turner. But I guess maybe the Pacers just take Brook Lopez's contract on as like, I think, getting picks out of it. I don't know. And it's just an idea. But regardless, let's go ahead and see if we can beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, who definitely have some size. They have Markkanen, which they aren't starting Markkanen at small forward this year. They have Osman there instead. Lauri Markkanen is on the bench, and then Karis LeVert, Kevin Love. And they kept Colin Sexton as well, but Isaac Okoro starting over Sexton. And then they have, obviously, Mobley and Jarrett Allen. So this team is going to be a little bit bigger, which I'm hoping we have the size to match that for sure, but I'm not sure we do. I guess at times you could have, like, Washington, Bobby Portis, and Giannis together out there on the floor if you really need to. But game 1, we're up 1-0 to start things off. So 44 and 16 from Giannis, which is what you love to see. Game 2, we're up 2-0. So far, so good. 43 from Giannis again. So Giannis is dominating Jarrett Allen down low. Did he drop 40 again? 50? Bro. Giannis is just taking it to another level. Come on, Giannis. All right, there we go. 5. Beat them in 5. I wonder how much Giannis is averaging in the playoffs right now, because he's averaging 36. So he must have had a terrible game. Game 4, I guess it was, right? Game 4, he only scored 22. So that's why his average got brought down. But he was probably averaging like 40 before that. But do we get the Brooklyn Nets? Yes, we do. So we get a rematch of Milwaukee versus Brooklyn. So this will be interesting. Kyrie, Seth Curry, KD, and Simmons. And then obviously no James Harden there anymore. But Drew Holiday, Connaughton, Middleton, Bobby, Giannis, Washington, Grayson Allen, Jordan Nwora. So this will be interesting. Game 1, we're up 1-0 to start things off. We beat them pretty badly. Giannis, once again, has been fantastic. Washington's actually been a really good player in these playoffs as well. So I love that addition for this team. They do even it up, though, 116 to 110. So this is going to be a battle for sure. We're down 2-1. Okay. I'm a little nervous about going down 3-1 to Brooklyn. So let's go ahead and simcast game 4, because I'm definitely trying to win a championship with the Bucks here, but If the Nets end up taking me out, then, you know, I wouldn't be too surprised. And it is a close game, but we end up losing by 4. Chris Middleton drops 33. Giannis drops 33. And honestly, man, if we end up losing in these playoffs, I don't really know how good this roster is going to be next year. I think this is our window right now, at least in 2K, because I know Drew Holiday is about to go down overall. I know probably Middleton is probably about to go down. So we are in desperate need to win this series. But, I mean, being down 3-1 to Kevin Durant is not looking good right now. So it's a close game, and it looks like the Nets are going to take the lead back at the end, and they beat us 108-112. So the Nets get their revenge on us, and they end up eliminating us. The Atlanta Hawks and then the Pelicans, and the Pelicans go on and win it all. So I will run it back another year, but I'm going to be honest, boys. I think this roster is going to get even worse. It is. I mean, we're going to be old. This roster is going to get even worse. Outside of Giannis Antetokounmpo, this roster is kind of old. So just like the Suns video, like I said, like how their roster was a little bit up there in age with Chris Paul and stuff. I would definitely love to come back to like another Bucks rebuild where we kind of build the next wave around Giannis Antetokounmpo, where we like maybe trade Drew and Drew and Middleton, and kind of see what that would look like. But I'm curious to see if Middleton's going to accept his option or not, and he did. Okay, so we get Chris Middleton back. Then we have Sandro here. I guess we could accept as well. Qualifying offers: Jordan Nwora and PJ Washington are 2 guys I definitely would love to have back. And then for free agency, if we take a real quick look, we have PJ Washington, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo, which I'm sure Giannis would love to have his brother stick around, so we'll go ahead and sign him back. Then Jordan Nwora, and of course, PJ Washington we do want back, so to make sure they're not renouncing him for me. There we go. So we get both of them back. We are renouncing George Hill this year, it looks like. So backup point guards we could grab. We got Kemba Walker. I mean, we could sign like Kemba Walker, I guess, to be like a backup point guard for this team, and maybe he's good enough for this team. But Washington and Jordan Nwora don't have offers yet. Washington's starting to get an offer. Jordan Nwora, I'm going to just go in and give a 2-year deal to, and then a 4-year for Washington. So we're going to sign Jordan Nwora. We're going to sign Washington back. Is there anything else we need to do? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, still kind of looking for that center. Brook Lopez is back here if we want to just go for Brook Lopez again, but he's going to probably continue to go down overall. Boogie Cousins, I guess, was in Milwaukee at one point for this team. I'll sign him to a deal. And if we look at player progression for this roster, Giannis going down, Drew Holiday went down to a 79 overall. So yeah, not looking good, but we're going to run it back again, man. We're going to see what happens in season number 2, and we'll go from there. But hopefully this team, like I said, I think the window was last year, but you never really know. With Giannis still being on the roster, anything is possible. But starting 5 is pretty much the same. I'm going to leave, we're going to run it to a 9-man rotation as well for the regular season. And then the playoffs will probably run a 8-man rotation again, but let's see if we can make the playoffs again, and hopefully this year maybe win the whole thing. So this year, once again, Luka wins MVP. Giannis wins Defensive Player of the Year again. But this year, unfortunately for us, we were actually in the play-in tournament. So we are not even in the playoffs. We get to play the Boston Celtics, which the Celtics have no business being in the play-in tournament either. But hopefully we're able to get out of the play-in tournament. I'm going to be a little disappointed if we're not able to be honest with you. We are at home. We have to win 2 games, which... I don't know, man. 1-game format, it's going to be tough, but we got to beat the Celtics here to get into the playoffs at first. This is the first step. It's looking good so far, and it looks like we are going to beat the Celtics to win our first game. Giannis had 41 in that game. Now we get to play the Atlanta Hawks to have the right to go play Cleveland. So let's see if we can get it done, man. It's in Atlanta this time. We can't get in the playoffs, dude. I'm going to be so sad. Please get in the playoffs, Giannis. Please get us into the playoffs, man. It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all, bro. No way. Wow, in this second season, we're not even going to be in the playoffs with this Milwaukee roster. That's kind of crazy. Trae Young drops 51. You know what? I'm not too surprised. I kind of mentioned that I thought our window was last year, and I had a feeling this roster was going to get old and 2K was going to hate it, because that's what 2K... If your roster is old, 2K does not like it, man. It does not like old rosters. The algorithm in 2K hates old rosters. If you have a roster full of 25-year-olds, you're making the playoffs every year. But if you have a roster full of 33-year-olds, you're not making the playoffs, bro. They just don't like it, man. So it definitely sucks. That's how this video is going to end. But like I said, man, I think I do really want to do a video where we actually like build the next wave around Giannis Antetokounmpo here in Milwaukee. So if you guys would want to see a video like that, definitely let me know down in the comment section below. But like I said, tonight I will be live for the draft lottery. I'm gonna probably go like live an hour or 30 minutes before. An hour or 30 minutes. It sounded like I said an hour and 30 minutes before, but an hour or 30 minutes before the lottery, and I'm gonna just hang out with you guys. We're gonna live react to the draft lottery. We're gonna hope the Blazers get the #1 overall pick tonight. But thank you guys for watching. Drop a like if you did enjoy. We're gonna definitely do some more offseason rebuilds once those other 2 teams get eliminated in the conference finals. But for now, this is Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.